Shalom, shalom to the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and welcome back to another episode of Torah Tuesday. And today's topic is going to be dealing with usury as well as business. There's one thing that the Most High have done, man. He's always have left His law so that we can structure ourselves, right, and to love one another. That's one of His laws is, and certain things that He requires us to do. All right. Let me get real quick. I'm sorry. Let me share the screen. Let me get Deuteronomy real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 10. 10 and verse 12. This is something that the Most High, requires of Israel. What are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to conduct ourselves when we amongst each other? Okay. Verse 12. And now, Israel, what doeth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Verse 13. And to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. So that is the requirement. So, as the title goes on, dealing with usury. Now, when the Most High put these laws out, right, it's for us to prosper. It's not for us to take advantage of one another. And the law is going to tell you that when you do obey the law, as far as not charging usury on your brother or your sister, that your blessings will increase. So let's get right into it. Okay, let's get right into it. Let's get to Leviticus real quick. Get Leviticus 25. Leviticus chapter 25, start at 14. And if thou sell aught unto thy neighbor, or buy aught unto thy neighbor's hand, ye shall not oppress one another. Okay, so he's telling us we're not to oppress one another. Okay, so stay in 25. I'm just going to move down to verse 26. Sorry, verse 36. Leviticus 25 and verse 36. Take thou no usury of him. So it's telling us, take no usury of him, or increase, but fear the Lord, thy God, that thy brother may live with thee. Because he's bringing that camaraderie, to our nation and to our people. Now, we're definitely going to charge usury, which is interest, okay, on another nation, because that's how we build our nation. But when we're amongst ourselves conducting business or borrowing or lending, we're not to, oppress our brothers or our sisters. Verse 37. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy vessels for increase. Okay, visuals for increase. So now there we go. So this is what the Most High said. He said, listen, when we conduct business around ourselves, he says, don't usurp money upon usury. Now, that helps our brother, because once we start to do business between one another, and we know that a fair deal is going to be between the two of us, then the Most High sees that, and that's what increases and helps our nation. Okay. It says, I am, verse 38, I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan and to be your God. So the Most High watches all transactions between one another. Okay. And that's why he put this law there. Now, if you look at the world today, everybody is charging interest, which is usual. I mean, you can't, if you borrow money from anywhere, and then look at Esau's kingdom, he's taking advantage of everybody when he's come down to lending out his money, especially when he knows that he holds the world currency. And just look at how much money he rakes in based upon his interest. And we can look at the credit cards, we can look at the taxes. So he's going above and beyond the call of duty when it comes down to charging usury or interest upon his goods. The Most High don't want us like that. Definitely don't want us like that. Let me get Deuteronomy real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 23. And I'm going to read verse 20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury. See, any of the other nations, yes, we are to put an interest on our goods. Started from the top. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury. Very clear. Now, it's one thing too, because the GMO small hats, right, that's over in Israel today, they know this law. They don't oppress their brothers. They don't oppress their brother or sister's business by charging usury. And what happens after that? Then they begin to prosper. Then they know that they're getting a fair deal. But now, when it goes back, when it says from the top, it says, unto a stranger, meaning the other nations, thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest thy hand to do in the land, whether thou goest to possess it. Okay? So now the Lord is telling you, once again, like I said before, it is the blessings that we want upon the Most High and our nation. That's why the laws are there. So the Most High, he structures everything around his laws. All that we have to do as Israelites is we just need to read it. And that's what Torah Tuesday that's what I try to do for Torah Tuesday. I try to bring out certain laws and statutes, for our people so that we can understand, what thus said the Lord. That's why I read in Deuteronomy chapter 12 and verse 10, it says, O Israel, what does the Lord require of thee? All right. So I'm gonna leave that. Let's go into a little business, how we conduct business with one another. Okay. So let me get Leviticus 19, and I'm gonna read verse 35. Verse 35. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment in measurement, in weight, or in measure. Okay. So now the Lord is telling us that we should do no unrighteousness in judgment. Verse 36. Just balance, just weights, just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. So the Heavenly Father gave us these laws because when he says a just weight, if you dealing with, well, they used to deal with weights back then. They will weigh whatever it is that someone may buy, whether it be sugar, whether it be salt, whether it be flour, those things like that, they will weigh it and then you will pay according to the weight. Well, we know that there'd be some shady people. I want to say Israel, but I wanted to say be some shady people that may have a scale that may be tampered with. Okay, so they may not give a just balance. The Heavenly Father is telling you, hey, when you start to do that, then guess what? No, that's unjust. That's something that the Heavenly Father sees, because we read earlier, he said that, when you do right, then he said that he will bless you. Because you got to remember, like them old Westerns, and they have the little store. You go in there and you can just, everything was weighed. Everything, clean down to the candy, uh, from the candy down to the detergent, to the soap, everything was weighed. So that's why he said a just balance, a just weight, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Verse 37. Therefore shall you observe all my statutes and all my judgments and do them. I am the Lord. So the Heavenly Father, he's watching. He's definitely watching. So when you conduct business with one another, with your brother within the nation of Israel, we are to do it in righteousness according to the laws. That's Leviticus. Let me get Deuteronomy real quick. Get Deuteronomy chapter 25, and I'm going to read verse 13. Verse 13. Thou shalt not have in thy bag diverse weights, a great and a small. So we're not to have diverse weights. Like I said, once again, if you have a store, and the scale should be, weighed right. It shouldn't have, leaning on the heavy side. Okay, where you collect more money. No. Most I said, be upright. Be upright in your business. Okay. Um, Verse 14. Thou shalt not have in thy house diverse measures, a great and a small, but thou shalt have a perfect and just weight. A perfect and just measure shalt thou have, that thy days may be lengthened in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. See, everything the Most High is saying that if you do right, he will lengthen the days, he will bless you. Okay, and those are the things that you want when you conduct in business, because that's what actually puts us within the righteous boundaries of the laws. Okay, verse 16. For all that do so, for all that does such things, and all that do unrighteously are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. Once again, he sees it all. He sees it all. Go back to Leviticus real quick. We'll get Leviticus chapter 13. I think I read 13. No, here it is. Leviticus chapter 13. So remember, we're dealing with business now. We dealt with usury. We're not to cause usury upon our brothers or our sisters. So now we're dealing with business. And the Most High said, be upright with it, be just, okay, and have a equal balance, a measure. Verse 13, thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, nor rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. See, so now the Most High is telling you, okay, when you hire your brother, you're supposed to pay that brother at the end of the day for his labor. Now, if you look at how businesses conduct now in Esau's world, okay, they don't do that. What does he do? He holds your check, all the way to the end of the week, and then at the end of the week, he want to collect his taxes. He want to collect his portion of what he feels that you work for. He doesn't. He's not given a just balance in his wages, because he's supposed to pay, as the law said, you're supposed to pay that man at the end of the day, because you don't know what responsibilities that man may have. that he may be eating day by day from his labor. He may be paying his bills or have to pay someone else. So this is why the Heavenly Father put this law in here. Now you can make an agreement with him and say, you know what? At the end of the week, after my 5 days that I've worked for you, if we can make an agreement that way and then make an agreement on a wage, okay, you can do that because that's a just balance. But for you to just deliberately do it, no, that's against the law. I'm going to read it again. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor. Now it says thy neighbor, okay? Neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Okay, that's what the Heavenly Father was saying. Don't let that sun go down without you paying that man, unless there's an agreement that you agreed to get paid every 2 days or every week or every month, or so be it. So business, the Most High is always structured his law so that it will go for it, not only for the children of Israel, but for the other nations to abide as well. All right. I'm going to read that again. That's in Deuteronomy chapter 12. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. Deuteronomy chapter 12. 10. Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. And now, Israel, what do the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. 13. To keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. So these laws are for the good and betterment of our nation. Okay, that's what it's good for. It's for the good and betterment for our nation. Real quick, just a few laws to hit. But then as you go on, the scriptures, and if you read the whole chapter of that, then it goes into a little bit more detail. Then it branches off on how if a brother is poor and how we're supposed to treat, our brother and our sister within our nation. But that is what's required of us, Israel. So I keep you with that, and I hope you continue to listen to Torah Tuesdays as I bring out just certain aspects of the law that we may not be aware of. So with that, Israel, I say shalom.